So I should probably, yeah, probably should have done that a little bit earlier. Welcome. Also this, which is not the, okay, I probably should have just, greatest intro to a stream ever. Let's see, there you have it, my game audio in theory, but not in practice. It's just very quiet. Okay, that makes sense. That should be about right. Now the thumbnail should be right as well. Everything is going fucking fabulously so far. Let's change from top to live chats, and maybe at some point somebody will maybe show up if we are lucky. I'm just gonna like copy this link and throw it into some... I wonder what happens when you try to download a YouTube link of an ongoing live stream. And throw this into like a self-promotion here. It's probably not gonna, like, nobody ever fucking checks this channel, I'm sure. But hey, what are you gonna do? Where did we leave off last time? I don't quite remember. Well, obviously this city. I think we're going into the third gym soon. We have scrapped the Clink, which has Vice Grip, Thundershock, Gear Grind, and Bind. And that's everything because obviously this is a solo run. I was going to say solo log. Holy crap, of course no. It's not a solo log. That would be horrible. Let's not ever do that. I think that might literally also just not be possible. Maybe it is. Welcome to a new episode of Vlogger vs. Animals. Okay. I've got another thing to talk about today. Because yeah, animals suck, especially koalas. In today's episode, Vlogger vs. Bugs. That's very, very true. Hopefully also a Vlogger against the flying squirrel. In theory, right? Because I'm assuming we also get to at least a fourth gym. Presumably we might get to the fifth one as well. If we get lucky, but maybe not quite. I had a revelation, you could say, today. I think this is the wrong street to go into. Yes, it is. Because I kind of forgot to, like, get dinner ready. And I was like, okay, I only have, like, a lasagna to eat. Or a pizza. But for both of those, I'm going to need... I think you need to go here, right? Nope. No, you do not. For both of those, I would need to preheat the oven and then actually put the thing in the oven. And it would be like at least 45 minutes for the pizza and like an hour for the lasagna. And I was hungry. And then I've decided to check. Let's see if Domino's has any like coupon codes with Honey, the free browser extension to ruin your ad spot. Honey, if you do want to sponsor me, it would be a waste of your fucking time because nobody's going to actually see the sponsor spot, but hey, I'll take it. There was no coupon code, but apparently this week there is like a different kind of like marketing thing going on where they deliver pizzas within 20 minutes, and if they can't manage that within 20 minutes, you get a voucher for a free pizza within 24 hours. So I was like, okay, I either have, like, quick food. This is not where I'm supposed to be going, is it? Why do I always think I have to go there? I either get a pizza, which is probably like 25 minutes from now, which is, like, quicker than the oven would preheat to begin with. Or I get a pizza within 20 minutes, and it's even better. But if it takes a little bit longer, I effectively get two pizzas, right? Because I can just like order another one next week. It got here on time, barely. It was literally like 19 minutes. But I had the pizza. It was a very nice barbecue chicken bacon pizza. I fucking love bacon and barbecue chicken. So that's a very good combination, which I didn't even have, like, wasn't even a custom pizza. That's apparently just something they sell. Bacon, barbecue chicken. And that is... Honestly, like, I always used to go for, like, the meat lovers or, like, barbecue meat lover, whatever name they give it. Like, they had bacon and, like, minced meat and, like, some bits of chicken and then some think some pork on it as well. It's like a lot of meat, which is very not environmentally friendly, I am aware. I'm not ordering from Domino's to be environmentally friendly. Like, every once in a while, it's okay to just like be a bit of a dick to the environment and eat something unhealthy for your body as well. Look, if you're not microwaving pizza, like, yeah, you're microwaving for reheating, but if you just like have a frozen pizza, you're not putting it in a microwave. If you are, you're doing it wrong. Anyway, I apparently took down that drone without too much problem. Long story short, I had a pizza. It was a nice pizza, but I always, when I order Domino's, I get a stomachache. Like, I get a pretty bad stomachache for like an hour or two, and it, admittedly, the other side to that is that I am no longer hungry for the rest of the day, and I end up snacking a lot less at night, which is a good thing, I guess. So that balances things out a little bit. And I always just figured that was because, like, yeah, I get a pizza with a lot of, like, meats, and it's a very fatty pizza, right? So that's probably the reason I get a stomachache. Not realizing that every time I order from Domino's Pizza, I also order a large milkshake, because they're, they're thick shakes, but let's be honest, they're just like milkshakes, which are just a tiny bit colder than usual. I ordered their, like, triple chocolates thick shake, or whatever they call it. It's a very good one. And just today, it's been like, I've had this issue for a very long time. I don't order Domino's often as a result of like the stomachache I get. Also, it's pretty fucking expensive. I just realized today, it might not be the fucking pizza that's getting me a stomachache. It might be the fucking milkshake, because lactose intolerance is a bitch. I don't know how that took me so long to realize. Pizza contains milk. Well, does it? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That would make it like that. That would make the dough cake. No, it's the milkshake. The milkshake gets me a stomachache, I'm pretty sure. So next time I'm going to order from Domino's, which is not going to be for a while, because again, hella expensive. I'm going to try to order another drink with it. Maybe just no drink at all. I'll just drink water, because as is, like, it's terrorizing your body anyway to eat a Domino's pizza. Something happened here with Team Galactic and I didn't even pay attention at all. I guess we did well. It's literally a milkshake. I mean, they call it a thick shake in my defense, but it's still a milkshake. I am very much aware of that. The thing is, though, usually I don't really have a huge issue with like stomach aches due to like milk products. So I'm not even entirely sure that is the case. It might just be because it's like a very like fatty pizza, and I always take the, oh wait a second, I also take the cheesy crust. Okay, so that, it might be like a compounding thing, right? It's like, it's a lot. It's one Domino's pizza is generally more like food matter than I consume at dinner. So that's one thing. Then it's also a very, like, there's a lot of fat in it. But then we also have the cheese in the crust and a milkshake. That combination just doesn't do good things for my stomach. And issue is, it tastes so goddamn good. The shake as well. Like, it's not that I don't like it. It's a little bit like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not against paper straws. I very much am pro paper straw. Everybody should be pro paper straw. If you get the option between a paper and a plastic straw, you pick the paper one. Because it is just better in every single way. It's not that much more uncomfortable, generally speaking. unless you're drinking something thick, like a milkshake, or this thick shake, which is just like a thicker milkshake. At which point, paper straws become a lot more annoying. Wait, what? Gear Grind? I was gonna say, if Gear Grind doesn't work against grass types or bug types, I'm screwed. I'm in denial about what? About like lactose intolerance? Because yeah, maybe I don't really have a big issue. Like I can eat cheese just fine, usually. Like I don't have any problems with cheese. Then again, when I eat cheese, it generally no because if cheese is part of the problem, I might like have forgotten the fact that yes, I'm eating a pizza, which. There's a lot of cheese on that. But when I eat like a pizza or lasagna for that matter, or any kind of pasta, I don't really have like any issues with cheese, generally speaking. There might be something to like the cheese making process that makes like it less offensive to somebody who is like sensitive to lactose. I don't know about that. That actually seems reasonable because most people don't have problems with cheese. Which would be real bad, by the way. If you can't eat cheese, I'm not saying your life isn't worth living, but it kind of is. Like, cheese is real fucking good. That's all I'm saying. If you can't eat cheese, why are you still here? This should be super effective, right? Does this gym have a Crossle in this version, or is that Black and White 2? I'm thinking that might be Black and White 2, or a rematch, for, as a matter of fact. Yeah, it's probably a rematch now I'm thinking about it, because even in Black and White 2, it might not even be this gym leader. I'm remembering fighting a Crossle at some point. Might be Blaze Black? Somewhere in this game, or this like series of games, there is a Crossle that I remember having issues with at some point. It might have actually been in a randomize. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a Crossle. I think he just has the entire Lavani line, right? That's pretty much what it comes down to. You can't eat cheese? That sucks. No Crossle. Yeah, I didn't think. No Crossle, yeah. Just the Lavani line, right? Or is it a Vanapede? I'm gonna sound real stupid, but Vanapede isn't part of the Lavani line, is it? No, it's not. But what is the pre-evolution to Vanapede? Oh no, it doesn't have a pre-evolution. It evolves into Scolipede. This fucker doesn't have a Scolipede, does it? I remember it having a Lavani. Lavani is its ace, I'm pretty sure. It probably has a Vanapede, ooh, Charge Beam might not be bad. Let's see, that is 50 versus 40. It's a little less accurate, yeah, but sure. I don't care. Oh, that is just the... I didn't even press the button. Lactose intolerant, can eat it, but on the toilet immediately. You're really that sensitive to it, are you? Because there shouldn't be like that... Like cheese... It depends on how much cheese you eat, I suppose. But by and large, I'm pretty sure like cheese isn't that bad compared to like the amount of matter you're consuming. So by extension, the amount of lactose, I assume you're consuming, like a slice of cheese compared to like a glass of milk. Oh, there's a whirlpool in between as well. That's right. It's not that much, right? Because a slice of cheese is what, like? I actually don't know. I think like I've got a pack of cheese in the fridge, and it's like 15 slices, and that's like 500 grams or something. So a slice of cheese can't be much more like 50, let's say 65 grams. A glass of milk is like 350 milliliters at least. And it's pretty like 1-to-1. Right? Just like water. Like way 2 milliliters. Which again, if Americans are watching this, I'm very sorry you have a stupid system. Our measurement system makes sense. I didn't, like, it's not my fault. That is something Americans can't do, right? Just like, for water purposes. Things that are like either water or very like close in density to water, liquids. Fluids, I guess, but really liquids. You can just take the milliliter amount and throw grams in front of it, and it more or less still works unless there's like a very significant density difference. You can't really do that when you're using like ounces and then pounds and whatever the hell they use. I lost this one. I'm gonna have to redo that. So point being is that if you take a slice of cheese, I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just like wondering out loud here. Like a slice of cheese probably is like 1/5 the amount that like a glass of milk would be. Based on a lot of assumptions and some very, very rough math. Gear Grind is a better option as Bug Draws Resist Electric. Yeah, but my Gear Grind was kind of run out. I probably should have gone to Vice Grip, to be fair. And not to Charge Beam. Because you're right, that is resisted. And I definitely shouldn't have did that. But Gear Grind was running out. Realistically, I should have just gone back to the Pokemon Center to heal and get my PP back. Before going in. But, too late now. I'll probably be fine. I'll probably be fine. I can just Gear Grind this Whirlpede to death with like 2 hits. Technically 4 hits, but whatever. I had another thing I wanted to talk about on stream today. There's certain topics that just work better on stream than they do in videos. And to be fair, the video I recorded yesterday, which is for next Monday, that was a very easy kill. Ended up being mostly cutscenes, because it's the Kingdom Hearts 3 part where I go face Vanitas, which I thought was going to be an easy fight. It's kind of a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be. And then there's like half an hour of cutscenes, because people won't shut the fuck up, and it's just me being a smartass over those cutscenes, for the most part. And that's going to happen a lot, by the way. That's going to happen a lot over the next, like, week of episodes for Kingdom Hearts. Because we're entering a part of the game that's very cutscene heavy. Like, there's going to be a lot of boss fights back to back to back to back as well. For the Keyblade Graveyard. But there's going to be a huge amount of cutscenes before any of that even happens. We accidentally got a gym patch, by the way. Again, was not paying attention. And we did it within 20 minutes. That's actually kind of impressive. Struggleborg, I'm never going to be able to use that, but thank you very much. There should be a quicker way to get back. Look, I like this gym. The gym in Black and White 2 is a lot better. Partly because like the animation doesn't even... I haven't timed it, but I'm assuming the animation doesn't even like take that much longer or shorter. Like they probably take fairly similar amounts of time to get through the animation for like going through the Honeygoo and going through the like spiderweb thing in Black and White 2. It's just, it feels so slow due to the slow stretching and nothing's really happening on screen and the sound effect, and you're actually having to like press the button down all the time, and it's a very well done thing to like show the feeling of going through this thick honey substance. But it just feels like it's taking so goddamn long all the time. Now, old school topic. How much of an asshole am I when I run a Yu-Gi-Oh deck where I have to pay 500 life points to do anything? You're just being Declan. What is his Japanese name? I don't know. God, talking about the Japanese versus English dub of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? A while back, as I talked about in Discord while I was watching it, I rewatched probably my second favorite Yu-Gi-Oh anime, just because 5Ds wasn't easily available anywhere other than Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll doesn't have a neat autoplay feature, which keeps interest and stuff, and Netflix did. So I went with rewatching Arc 5, and Netflix only has the first 2 seasons. And the 3rd season, which I didn't even know was dubbed in English, because at the time I watched Arc 5 originally, it didn't have an English dub for its last season yet. So I was very happy to learn that the last season... It's Reiji, that's its Japanese name. Had an English dub. What the fuck did they do to Zog's voice? That is the most horrible voice I've ever... Like, the Japanese version is really intimidating and really sinister. And then you've got this, like, over-the-top, look, I am crazy, insane, stupid in English. There's literally, like, a part... I don't speak Japanese, so I am, like, to a certain extent inferring emotions, because I don't, like, understand the language that well, like, at all. Like, I understand, like, 3 words of Japanese. One of which is NANI?! But there's one moment where, like, the professor is, like, comes up with his dual disc and gets, like, 1 turn KO, right? But he calls out to Zark, and Zark... In the Japanese, at least to me, it sounds like a very casual, what do you want? I'm kind of busy right here. And then he just 1 turns absolutely obliterates him. In the English version, it's the worst. It is literally the worst. You guys like, what? I like above average for like watching any kind of anime. I like English dubs because I don't like having to read a lot of the time. And the idea of the acting usually is better in the Japanese version, I don't necessarily agree with, especially since if you don't understand the language, you're going to miss out on a lot of emotional cues as well. Like, it's not like because it's Japanese, there's like more emotional depth to it. There might be, and if you understand the language well enough, I am sure that is the case. And I'll go back to a example of something like that in a moment. Bianca, can you fuck off with your super potions, please? But if you don't very much understand the language, I don't think there's anything to be gained by watching anime in Japanese other than being a massive fucking weeb. So I, above average, like English dubs. I'll watch a sub when I get into an anime that doesn't like have English dubs for certain episodes that I want to watch yet. But for me, getting into an anime that doesn't start at least with like 10 to 20 episodes of being able to just casually like listen to it because it's dubbed, I can't really get into that. Now, I'll go to chat for a moment and then I'll come back to my example about Japanese language. Because again, it's one of the 3 words I know, but I actually think it is it's a very good example for both arguments. So, first season arc 5 is the only good arc. I heavily disagree. I think arc 5 is a brilliant show. Not as good as 5Ds, and I would actually argue that 5Ds does become significantly less good after the Darksiders. Like, if we take that as like the first season, which I think it's like the second season really, because the first season is just setting up to the Crimson Dragon reveal But it's really like the first story arc, right? The Dark Signs. After that, it becomes a lot less good. That I will give you. But for Arc 5, I don't really see that. Helium is scratching on a book. Are we talking about Zark's voice? Because that does sound like a very good description of what Zark sounds like in the English dub. So I got called a weep and someone that is not today. Look, there's nothing wrong with being a weeb, but like that is it, right? Unless I'm missing something huge, like you're watching anime in Japanese over English because that is part of anime culture, not because of any like. Generally speaking, right? There's certainly examples going both ways. But generally speaking, like it's not like the quality or like the enjoyment is any more or less. It's mostly just because that's like what is expected of you within the anime subculture. And that is what I mean when I say you're watching anime in Japanese probably because you're a massive fucking weeb. Because that's kind of just what's happening. Yeah, it became a lot worse after the Dark Signs, mostly due to behind-the-scenes controversy, but also I do believe because it was never meant to go on after that, but it was a little too popular to quit. So there was no story like planned at all. No fucking rival battle, why not? There was no story planned for after the Dark Signs, and as a result, nothing really leads into each other very well. Anyway, coming back to my... at least I don't have a body pillow yet. Though those pillows are very high quality. I mean, usually they're fairly expensive as well, right? So they better be. Like, I'm just saying. It's probably not a pillow full of alpaca wool, but this is... I'm just hoping that for those kind of prices, because you are paying premiums for those kind of products, generally speaking. It doesn't look like be synthetic feeling, is all I'm saying. You better be getting wool. Going back. Another example where I think the Japanese does offer something that the English literally cannot offer, and yet in the voice acting performance makes up for it. Is within Dragon Ball Super. When Frieza gets resurrected for a day to, like, in the recruitment arc for the Tournament of Power. And they do the whole thing with, like, the Universal 9 assassins show up and Frieza, like, blasts the hell out of all of them and then traps Goku within the Energy of Destruction Sphere. I'm just realizing, if you haven't seen this show, this sounds fucking apeshit. But bear with me, alright? Because everybody knows who Frieza and Goku are. So, and then Beerus shows up, and Frieza says something along the lines of, in like his internal monologue, you won't always be the one giving the orders, Beerus. And that is the first time, at least from Frieza's side, that in the Japanese version, he doesn't say Beerus-sama. He just says Beerus. Which is, like, hugely disrespectful, but it shows that he no longer considers Beerus to be above him. Because he's now like, I'm gonna fuck you up at some point. Like, I am not respecting... I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm done with your shit. There's no real there's no real way to convey that same, like, emotional message within the English language in such an elegant and, like, direct way. So, yeah, in an example like that, I do think that a Japanese version, if you understand the language well enough, which isn't that deep at all, like, this kind of suffix, like, very basic. If you've ever watched any anime, you've probably picked up on it, right? That being said, I think the other disdain in Frieza's voice in the English version of that scene does carry over that same feeling and sentiment very, very well. So, while linguistically speaking, yeah, some things can't be really conveyed as well in English as in Japanese, for instance. I think there's like plenty of other ways to make up for that. Maybe not always, but in this example, they found a way. Just have a very very talented actor which can like morph a delivery towards what was originally intended with the dialogue. Anyhow. I've got a bear with me. His name is Terence. Well, hello Terence. You are a bear, I hear. The only bear that I know is Pooh Bear. And he's got very bad worlds within Kingdom Hearts, so I don't like him one bit. Good friend of mine like Pooh Bear a lot. So that balances things out. And to be fair, 100 Acre Wood isn't that bad, all things considered, if you're just taking Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 into consideration. If we're forgetting that it appeared in Chain of Memories, yes it did, and yes it was bad. It's better in Re Chain of Memories, but in the original GBA version of Chain of Memories, 100 Acre Wood is absolutely fucking horrible. It is literally the worst. And the one in Kingdom Hearts 3 is also very, very bad. I would argue that the one in the GBA version of Chain of Memories is worse, because at least the one in 3 functions. It's boring and repetitive and stupid, but it functions. And fuck this D1. So yeah, we're half an hour in. I've already done my anime run for the week. And then we get a Pansia. Your entire team is just made to fuck me, isn't it? I'm gonna need to do grinding to get past the level 20 Pansia, and that is really fucking sad. In the meantime, I've been rewatching the Harry Potter movies. I don't know if I talked about this in Discord or not. I don't think I did. I've been rewatching the Harry Potter movies, about half a movie a night. I end up watching like an hour of the movie and then the second half the night after. And I've done Harry Potter 1, 2 and 3 so far. Actually, I think I watched the first Harry Potter in 3 parts as well. I don't know. I'm going to start watching Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire tonight. And somehow TikTok knows. Because when I go onto TikTok, I get Harry Potter content suddenly. Which kind of freaks me the fuck out. Like, I'm not usually somebody who's like, oh, they're listening into a microphone, because if you think your smartphone, these apps like Facebook or TikTok are 24/7 listening into your microphone and like processing that audio into words that they can then analyze for their algorithms, you are actually insane, and you have no idea what like computing power would be needed to do that on a worldwide basis. Like that notion that they would do that with audio, like non-stop audio streams, that notion is insane. Have you seen automatic captions on YouTube videos? That would not work at all. They have very much more efficient ways of figuring out what you're interested in. It's a lot more scary than they're listening in on you, because they don't have to even listen in on you, because just by existing and doing the things you do, they know more about you than you do. That is much more scary than they're using my microphone. Anyway, TikTok, it's real good at that. Like, people might say Facebook and YouTube are very like strong ways to like get radicalized, and like, because you just go down a rabbit hole of recommendations and whatever. TikTok is honestly like the worst offender that I've seen ever. It's really good at picking up what you're interested in, what you're not interested in, and giving you exactly that. I'm gonna have to do grinding. I'll get back to that in a moment, because I actually do have a thing about that. People apparently think, like, there are people on this planet who think the 5th Harry Potter movie is the best one in the series. And to those people, I have to say, what the hell is wrong with you? The 5th Harry Potter movie is probably one of the weakest. Harry Potter and Half-Blood Prince is definitely the worst Harry Potter movie, don't get me wrong. But Order of the Phoenix, it's a really good second. Like, the duel between Voldemort and Dumbledore at the Ministry of Magic, that's awesome. That's literally the only awesome part of the movie. The rest of the movie is kinda bad. And, like, I like 1, 2, and 3 the most, personally. But anyway, how do you watch half a movie? I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Movies are kind of like just a show, like 3 episodes of a show stitched together, more often than not. Like, depending on like the structure of the movie and how well made the movie is, there's a lot of times where you can, like, the end of Act 1 usually, like, don't stop there. But you can, right? Everything is set up, like Harry's at Hogwarts. Everything, like, every character has been introduced. You could stop there. But then, definitely a certain point. I'm thinking where I stopped watching. I stopped watching at a real bad point for Philosopher's Stone, I'll give you that. Because I don't remember the first point I stopped at. The second point I stopped at, it might just been 2 watching sessions actually. The second point I stopped at, or the first, or anyway, one of the points I paused the movie at for later continuing is at the part where Harry is flying on a broomstick to get the key in, like, the trials to get to the Philosopher's Stone. Or Sorcerer's Stone, if you're stupid. Or American, but what's the difference? That is a very bad moment to stop. But, for instance, in the Chamber of Secrets, a pretty decent moment to end a watching session would be, is where I stopped anyway, is after Harry's been, like, bludgeoned to death almost by Dobby, and he's at the, like, in the hospital wing. And they bring in, what's his face? The kid with the camera, Colin Creevey, I think his name is. And Dumbledore goes like, the Chamber of Secrets has indeed been reopened. Ba-da-dum. That one, yeah. That could very well be like the end of an episode of a show. Like, that is a cliffhanger. That straight up is a cliffhanger. It just happens that the movie keeps going immediately after that. But that is definitely a moment where you can pause the movie. I watched the second half of Prisoner of Azkaban yesterday, and I picked up after Harry had his, like, Dementor repelling lesson with Lupin. The one where he's like, Expecto Patronum, oh, I failed, and next time I immediately succeed, because we don't have the time to build this up over like 15 chapters like we did in the book. So we just have to make one scene where I fail and then succeed immediately. It kind of comes with the medium, you can't really do too much about that. But that ends up really well, in like pacing as well, because it lingers a little bit and like Harry is lost in thoughts. And then it goes into a pretty unrelated, I think after that they go to Buckbeak's execution, right? So it's a pretty unrelated topic as well, which follows that scene. So it's pretty doable to just pause the movie and come back later. So that's how I watch half a movie. I gotta preference this by saying, well, not preference because I already talked about it, but I gotta add the thing is, not all movies you can do this with. And generally, it's easier to do with movies that you've already seen before. Like, I wouldn't recommend doing this on a first watched through of most movies. Infinity War is a very good example, by the way, of movies that you can stop at a lot of points because it's a very chaotic movie in its structure. Not in a bad way, necessarily, but it's because it's a movie where Thanos is the protagonist but not the main character, and as a result of that, it becomes fairly chaotic. And I think that is by design, and I don't necessarily dislike it, but there is a point there to dislike. It's a shift from child to teen movies. I would argue that not Half-Blood Prince, the Goblet of Fire is that shift. Honestly, I would argue that it's Prisoner of Azkaban, because the entire tone, like in everything about the movies, like there's this very famous image of somebody who took the average color of the entire frame per frame of the entire Harry Potter franchise and made it just 1 pixel wide and just made a gradient showing the color tones of the movies. And the first 2 movies, there's like a lot of yellow and orange and like golden warm colors. The moment you start the 3rd movie, things go to like dark blue and grey, and they don't get back to normal colors until the very end. Like, the moment Voldemort is defeated, things go back to natural colors again. But from the moment you start Harry Potter 3, things just like get more and more desaturated. Until by the end, like the moment Harry walks into the Forbidden Forest to go face Voldemort, that might as well be a black and white shot. Because there's no fucking... like, the only color that's in that shot is blue. And very dimly as well. It's also just very dark in general. But that makes sense because they're in the middle of like a very dense forest. So yeah, I would argue that Order of Phoenix doesn't really change into a teen movie unless you... I guess you can count like the romance becoming a bigger part of the story and the characters. That does indeed happen within Order of the Phoenix. That being said, I don't know, this is probably some level of hot take, but I think every bit of romance written within the Harry Potter story is hot garbage. Like, J.K. Rowling, for as wonderful of a world, sometimes inconsistent, but as wonderful of a world as she's written and as awful of a person as she can be, she's not good at writing romance. Clearly. Neither am I. Let me be very clear, neither am I. But J.K. Rowling is just very, very kind of bad at it. And that's that. Like, I honestly don't think any of the characters that end up together have any chemistry whatsoever. To the point where some of the things that happen in the movies, like Neville and Luna, makes way more sense to me than anything J.K. came up with. She's honestly awful at writing romance stories, which is fine because she's not writing a romance novel. She's writing a light fantasy novel. So that's fine. But that might be part of the reason why I personally dislike Order so much. Well, the romance thing was more on Half-Blood Prince, which really drags that book down as well. But it's kind of needed to counterbalance all of the heavy exposition about Voldemort. Chamber of Secrets having indeed been reopened, all the porn are now accessible to all. Okay. Do you think? I mean, there has to be a thing, right? Like, the way in the Wizarding World the pictures move in the papers, like, that's gotta also happen within, like, the porn magazines, because they clearly don't have the internet and technology, so they still have analog porn. I am 99% sure. But a lot of those pictures, especially portraits, can also interact with, like, the real world. So do you think, while you're, like, browsing through this magazine, all these people within the magazine are judging you? Because I kind of feel like they would be. J.K. Rowling cannot really write a romance. I'm going to be honest. I don't think J.K. Rowling is a bad author. I also don't think the success of the Harry Potter books is proportional to her skill as a writer. I think she is. I think the Harry Potter books are fun, and like I'm into the fandom. To a certain extent, that I know a lot about these books and these characters and these stories. And even though the modern movies, like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, was a fine and fun movie, Crimes of Grindelwald is actually like a piece of trash. It's actually like actively making things worse. And then, because of the backlash, the movie after that was postponed, and then COVID happened, so there's a lot of bad stuff going on there. I'm gonna go watch that third movie in this series, just because at this point I'm so deep in, I'm just gonna keep watching. But there's way better writers out there, way better ones, that haven't made $1 billion of mediocre work. Because, again, I'm going to be honest, I like Harry Potter. I very much do. I grew up on Harry Potter, and it was very much a right person, right place, right time luck situation, as far as I can see. Because I may be also taking the risk of writing a series of novels over that long of a period of time, and it was a cultural experience, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a well-written story and a well-developed world. Of course, they will be judging. Who will be judging who for what exactly again? I'm talking so much shit. I don't know what refers to what sometimes. Want to see the train wreck? I'm all in for. If it's a one giant train wreck, I'm in for the ride. I like in the same way. Okay. This is gonna sound really out there for a moment, but stick with me. I think J.K. Rowling and Tetsuya Nomura have a lot of parallels, because they're both horrible at writing stories. Nomura more so than J.K. But they're both horrible at writing stories, but I am 100% in for all their bullshit. And whether it crashes and burns and I just get to watch the pretty lights, or they somehow manage to stick the landing and deliver something at least halfway decent, I am more into like just being part of this journey and the cultural phenomenon than actually following the story because I care about the story at this point. It's more like a game of cat and mouse. Very much unlike the MCU. Like Marvel, honestly, as much as I also like to keep up with like the community and the fandom around Marvel stuff, the content they put out is actually good. And that is a big difference. I've been critical about episode 2 and 3 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because I honestly do think that those were not great. The first one was very good. Very well set up. I don't think episode 2 and 3 were that good. Episode 4 and 5 were, holy shit, amazing. I hope episode 6 is going to be fantastic. It looks like it will be. I mean, WandaVision. I know WandaVision was supposed to be released after Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the original. You have more Pokemon! Shit! That's probably not good. Well, like, Marvel... Oh, that is not a problem at all. They actually put out, like, quality content. And there's still people who are all on about that train of Marvel isn't cinema. To which I say... Some of the movies... Yeah, some of the movies are very, like, dumb superhero movies without, like, much artistic vision behind them. I'm thinking Iron Man 2 and 3. Do we want to remember the Incredible Hulk happening? Thor 2 specifically. There are like some real low points of the MCU, which I would argue are decent movies, but like if you're considering cinema to be like art house type films, by which I mean they have like some kind of like moral lesson and like morality within them and serve more of a purpose than just I'm here to sit down for 2 hours, eat a bunch of popcorn and have fun. Which a lot of movies do just that, and that is fine. I honestly don't understand how people can watch like an average MCU movie. Like at least half the MCU would qualify as being some form of cinema, in my opinion, if that's what you would want to classify cinema as. I honestly do think that if you're like gatekeeping in that way, you're just being an asshole and a snob, and you should fuck the hell off. But like, have you seen any Captain America film? I don't know how you can call any of the 3 Captain America films not a cinematic experience. Because those are very full of like meaning and symbolism and everything like that. So, I don't know. Thor Ragnarok, a little bit less like subtext within that, but it's a very well-made movie with like interesting. Like what counts as cinema, right? Because I would say Thor Ragnarok is a very like good movie for other reasons than your average Captain America movie. Because Captain America is like it has a lot of subtext, a lot of symbolism, a lot of those kind of things. Where Thor Ragnarok has less of that, but I think Thor Ragnarok, due to like the nature of what it is, what kind of movie it is, has a lot more like visually interesting techniques going on, like a very dynamic camera which does very weird and interesting things, which then also visually reflects upon like character and story arcs. And in that way, it's a very well-made movie. So how is that not cinema? I honestly like... The only way I can see you saying the MCU is not cinema is if you've just like walked out of Iron Man 2 without any context for the rest of the MCU and base your entire opinion upon that. Or The Incredible Hulk, but again, we're just gonna forget that movie exists. It baffles me. I've had this argument with people, and look, I don't usually throw the card about like, look, this is my job, because I think that's kind of cheap, especially with something so subjective as like film, entertainment, and art. Like saying, well, I'm a filmmaker and therefore I'm right, feels like a bit of a cop-out because you don't really have any arguments left anymore. It's the just trust me bro argument. And I don't end up using that a lot. But sometimes I do with people on the internet, because honestly, sometimes people just don't listen, and I'm like, look, like, I did a 4-year study on this kind of stuff. I've had classes on film analysis. You shut the fuck up, I know what I'm talking about. And yeah, okay, maybe that makes me a little bit of a dickhat. But I'm a right dickhat. And sometimes it's all about being right. That's what the internet is for, right? Being right. Fighting people. I did see a very interesting thing. I don't know if I can talk about that, actually. It's from the latest episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's like only about a day ago. So I'm actually not going to talk about that. Never mind. I'm very sorry for bringing it up in the first place. We're kind of still talking about anime, because we've talked about this before, but the MCU, and that is, like, maybe an argument as to why it's not very cinema. But the MCU, to its credit, I think has done something that a lot of other companies and movies have tried to do and horribly failed. And that is make live-action anime. The MCU, by and large, is live-action anime. And that makes sense, because it is live-action movies based on comic books. Oh, you need a good bit of water there. I've been screaming into the mic for like 30 minutes without any interruption. So what are we going to do now? We're going to go Pokemon Center first and foremost, and we're going to battle Anne. We're having a lot of big battles today. We had Bianca, Bianca, and then Cheren, which was actually kind of problematic. We've had a gym fight. We've had 2 galactic fights. We're going to get another galactic fight against Anne. We're going to do at least 1 more gym fight. Then I think we do another Cheren fight after that as well. There's a lot of fights going on today. And we're only an hour in. We're doing well. We might actually get towards the end of the game, because how many streams do we have left? Only next week. We might not finish the game entirely because I skipped a week. We might. I don't know. If we get to the 5th gym today, we do the 6th, 7th, 8th. We might be able to do all 8 gyms. We probably won't be. We probably won't make it to the 8th. We probably will get to the 7th and then stop. It's not a dickhead, it's Daikid. I am probably missing a reference. I'm bad at references, okay? I'm anti-Captain America. I didn't understand that reference. Did you understand that reference? No, full circle. Okay, Team Plasma and let's see. We start off with a Sandile. I definitely fucking need to evolve at some point in the near future, because I'm really starting to notice the fact that I'm lagging behind. Okay, never mind, I'm not. This is going... yeah, Fire Punch. Oh my fuck! Yeah, it's paid me as well. Fire Punches... I was gonna say... Okay, I was gonna say something stupid. I was gonna say something really fucking stupid. I'm gonna say it. I was gonna say Fire Punch is quite effective against me because it's a fire fighting move. And I'm a Steel type, both of which are super effective against me. That's not how that works at all. It should. It should. It's not. But in my defense, that logic does make a certain amount of sense. Because it is a punching move, and it is a fire move. Only 8 more levels. Okay, we can do that sometimes this century, maybe? Can we really not do the gym first? That's not where the gym is. And it's blocking the gym. Yeah, so we can't do the gym. Unless... No, we can't. We have to do the whole Ferris ride again. 8 more levels. We can do this. I don't like that it forces you to rewatch this cutscene, but I get why that is the case. Because otherwise you could just walk into the gym, right? So it makes sense. But I'll just have to repeat and like program a check that says, have you already battled him? Yes or no? If so, load this version of the map layout, and otherwise load this version. That's just asking for things to go wrong. I get it. This is much easier, much like more reliable as well. And most people aren't going to die to end with this fucking Darumaka because they are doing a steel type mono solo thing run thingy-ma-doo-wiki. Okay, let's... Can't use items anymore. That is not good because I just bought items. Well, fuck me. You are so speedy. And you are so resisting that. So what exactly do I do here, right? Because... presumably I can't even use the super potion. And you two-shot me and you outspeed me. So I need to one-shot the Darumaka, is what I'm hearing here. Yeah, the thingamajig. Can I add lead lava grind to the... I probably can't, can I? I can't. Well, what are we going to complain about now? We've already complained about koalas last week. After which I actually saw a TikTok about why koalas are the worst animal in existence. Again, TikTok being just... I don't want to do this. Sure. Apparently, I learned today, and with learned today I mean I saw a TikTok and it's on the internet, so it must be true, that that dolphins are fairly racist. Like, dolphins will actually attack other kinds of dolphins that are differently colored. Just for shits and giggles. Like, honestly, they will. Is what I heard today. Again, have done about 0% research into that. And I'm just going to believe that that is true, because I like the idea of dolphins. It also makes sense, right? Because... I don't know if it makes sense. I feel like it's very easy to debunk that, because dolphins being wild animals, they pretty much attack anything other than, like, their own family and stuff. Because they are, like, group animal, type animal, right? So... But other than that, they'll probably just attack anything that's, like, either food or threatening. So, calling them out for attacking other dolphins because they have different colors seems like there's, like, a lot of room for misinterpretation there. So I very much doubt that dolphins are racist. I honestly do feel like racism might be a human-specific thing. But I don't know that. It's just a feeling I have. And if over the past, like, 5 or so years I've learned anything, is that feelings are facts too. Or what is the one thing? Is like, facts are also just opinions. There is a saying from, I don't know who, but somebody that said that at some point, like, facts are just opinions too. Like, do you not know what a fact is? Like, the fact that you take on opinions for facts doesn't mean that facts are opinions. It just means that you're a stupid cunt. And I think that is exactly the right word for that kind of person. Is be a stupid cunt. Can you say that on YouTube? I don't really care if you can say that on YouTube. I'm gonna go out and say you can say that on YouTube. I can level grind against trainers. Why am I level grinding against wild Pokemon? Probably because they all have Darumaka and I'm scared out of my mind about Darumaka at the moment. Can I level grind against any... Nope, I cannot. Do any of you want to fight me? You seem like the type that want to fight me. What was in that pizza? Barbecue sauce, and chicken, and bacon, and a lot of cheese. Maybe some cocaine. I don't know. I'll just Domino's. Wouldn't that be an amazing strategy? Just like putting cocaine or something that's a lot more addictive, I guess. I don't know how addictive cocaine is. Fairly addictive, I'm sure, because it's a pretty destructive thing for your body, and people do keep using it a lot. So, cocaine might be a bit expensive. Just like putting crack into like your pizza dough to make people addicted to your. You know what? I'm saying that as a joke, and then I realise that's exactly what McDonald's does, coating their French fries in sugar. That is literally what they do. Is putting, like, let's be honest, I'm considering sugar, for all intents and purposes, to be a kind of drug. And if you agree with me on that, and I think to a certain extent, it's not unreasonable to think that way. For all intents and purposes, at that point, they are drugging their fries to get people addicted. If you don't consider sugar a drug, which also, fair perspective, probably a very much more nuanced and maybe more well-researched perspective at that. It's still kind of fucked up that they... Because they do that for that exact reason. They coat their fries in sugar. So that, and just in general, like McDonald's, when you go eat that, you get a lot of sugar. A lot of unneeded sugar as well. Like, they coat them in sugar so that specifically kids, but people in general, come back for more. Because it's the special McDonald's... I don't like McDonald's French fries. I can't be the only one. I think they're highly bad. Like, they're like mayo mustard kind of sauce, which apparently is very much a Dutch thing. Or a European thing, I don't know which. I don't even think they necessarily do that within other European countries. I'm fairly certain that mustard mayo, like what we call American sauce, we started calling it American sauce, I'm fairly certain, because we got served it at McDonald's. It is not American. If you give that to an American, they will be very confused. I have no idea how that happened, but yeah, I'm fairly certain that sauce is a maybe not traditionally Dutch thing, but at least as far as McDonald's goes, very much a Dutch thing. And it's a very good sauce. Again, probably way too much sugar in there, but it tastes good. Did I already fight you? I might have already fought you. Do love the sauce, as do I, but you know what? We're going to Google this in a moment. and with the moment I mean right now, if I go American sauce. Yeah, no, I'm getting like a million different kinds of things. American sauce fries. Like literally the only brand I can find that calls that specific kind of sauce American is Ramia. And the only versions of it I think it is. I'm gonna have to like dive deeper into this, but I'm fairly sure that it's actually a Dutch kind of sauce, which we just decided was American for marketing purposes. Because I'll be honest, it doesn't even sound like something Americans would make, would it? Would they? Because it's... I don't exactly know the recipe for it, but as far as I understand, it's kind of just like a mustard and mayo and then maybe some other spices. That sounds more German than it does American. That does not sound American. It is definitely like my favorite sauce. It is also probably one of the most unhealthy. 1 mayo, 1 ketchup, and 1/3 mustard. There you go. That's the recipe for the sauce. Again, does not sound like something Americans would come up with. Because, number one, there's no gravy in it. Number two, there's no guns in it. Well, that's it. There's no gravy or guns in it, so it can't be American. Also, well, it does make you fat because it has a lot of sugar in it. Can't just be from the ketchup. I'm sure if you make it at home, it's less sweet. Because if you're doing like 1 part mayo, 1 part ketchup, 1/3 part mustard, you're getting way less sugar in it, right? Surely, because the only thing that actually has sugar in that recipe is ketchup. Which, to be fair, ketchup has a lot of sugar. The ketchup is more sugar than tomato. Tomato. Who cares? So, it probably would be a lot less sweet. You know that the American version would have gravy in it at least, right? And, I mean, I'm assuming you said butter as at least partly a joke, but it wouldn't surprise me if they throw in like some kind of oil or butter. Just to make it more fat. Then again, that's what you have the gravy for, I guess. Don't get me wrong, I like gravy. I really do. I just... You know... I think I understand why I don't have a very big American audience. Because every opportunity I get, I very much like roasting America, okay? I very much enjoy that. And in my defense, not without reason, because they make it very easy to make fun of them. Like people... This is gonna come across very insensitive. I don't mean it in any like offensive way. But people say America is just a third world country wearing a Gucci belt. And that is a very good analogy. But I would like to flip that around. Because America is that. But on the other hand, would also make sense as a first world country. But like the special needs kid in the class. First world country. Like... Yeah, you're a first world country, but we're all still kind of like behind your back, laughing at you and making fun of you because you're doing really stupid shit. It's not your fault. but it's still funny. Again, I warned you, it was going to come across as insensitive and offensive. But you can't say that I'm not right at least a little about that. Though I do prefer calling them a third world country because that makes me feel better about myself. So... there we go. Mind you, we're not doing much better over here. Like, even within Europe, we're probably like... well, we're definitely not the worst within Europe, because Europe has some, like, actual dictatorships. And, like, actual fascists. Get into power at this point. So, we're not half bad. Like, even within the European Union, we're having, like, real issues. So we're not even the worst within Europe or the European Union, but we're definitely not, like, top of the line either. Thing is, like, most countries at this point are just fucking up in some way or another, so... there's always something to point and laugh at, and that's pretty much the only thing I do, is point at other things and laugh, because that keeps my mind off the fact that everything is very sad. I'm going to go to level 33, and then we're going to try to beat Anne again, because I do want to at least get a second gym badge this stream, if at all possible, which that shouldn't be an issue, because I feel like if we can get through Anne, specifically with the Daramaka issue, the actual gym here shouldn't be an issue. I am terrified of the 5th gym, because that's a ground type gym, and I don't think I'll have Levitate. Maybe I'll have Magnet Rice, or whatever that move is called. That would be neat. I would very much enjoy having that, but I kind of doubt I get that, to be honest, because I'm not a Magnemite. So what are we going to make fun of now? Oh, it does strike me as interesting that we're making fun and talking about America. In the part of the region that is directly based on New York City. Like, I think the entire region is based on New York City, but obviously the city itself, Castelia City, is New York. And I'm pretty sure these ruins are supposed to be ground zero for, like, the 9/11 attacks. So I think it's thematic that we... okay, apparently we're talking... we're battling year 2. I think it's thematic that we're talking about America. And all the major things surrounding that and all the fuck-ups while we're here. And then never talk about them again, because don't give them attention. They'll just feel rewarded. I am going to, if I don't forget, do a little bit more Googling into, like, the whole American Souls and its origins, because I honestly am very curious about that. Because it might not be, like, straight up something Dutch. But I very much have my doubt that it was an American invention either. Specifically because, like, the McDonald's thing, right? But if it... the thing I'm thinking, right, it must have been a thing before McDonald's started using it. And I'm, again, fairly certain that that sauce is very much a Dutch McDonald's thing. And I can't see why, like, McDonald's Netherlands would specifically develop a new kind of sauce. So it must have been a pre-existing sauce. But where did it come from? Where did it go? Something Cotton Eye Joe. Talking about cultural differences between Europe and American cultures. I don't know the name. The guy that also did the movie pitch thing, Ryan something rather. He made a video about like the first guy to play Duck Duck Goose, and the entire like concept of that series is that you explain something that we all take for granted in a very like back to basic and explain the entire concept from like the understanding of somebody that doesn't know anything about it in a very weird way. I don't know if he realized that Duck Duck Goose is a very American game played by American kids, and that the rest of the world watching that video would just be like, yeah, no, this does sound very stupid. Why do people play this? Not to say that like traditional Dutch children's games are much better. Like we have some real awful ones as well, but maybe just children's games in general, dude. Maybe just we shouldn't let children play. How about that? I feel in favour of that. We shouldn't let children play games. Just lock them up inside, let them read a book. Maybe that way our next generation will actually be somewhat educated. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? If they don't like reading, I don't know, give them an audiobook. I don't care about like them physically seeing the words, I just care about them absorbing information. And while they're at it, if they're old enough, I mean, don't give this to a 6-year-old. Maybe don't even give this to a 12-year-old, but give them the Name of the Wind. This is why you're not a parent yet, Flower. Because I think kids shouldn't play outside and just learn like new things and stuff. Well, actually, now that I say it out loud, yeah, that does sound really bad, doesn't it? Okay, let's charge beam you this time. I at least outspeed you. Oh, that's not good. That's really not good. Okay, we're gonna do that again. Also, what do you mean yet? Because I wasn't really planning on having any children because I fucking hate children. Which is maybe... Trying to get a YouTube channel off the ground is maybe not like the best thing if you hate children, because like in order to be successful on YouTube or like no social media platforms to like a reasonable commercial standard, you're going to have to aim your content towards like a younger audience, right? Like the oldest you can probably aim for and be reasonably successful is like 12 to 15. Not to say that all the people don't watch YouTube, but that can't be your main demographic because you're gonna have a lot of struggles. Case in point, my channel. Like, if you're aiming your content towards like 6 to 12-year-olds, it's a lot easier to boom. I'm not saying that it's possible or impossible either way, because there's so many people, so many eyes to watch content. But it's a lot easier to boom if you like aim towards children, which just sounds wrong in so many ways. But I hate children, so that ain't gonna. Ah, fuck you! Can we please make a point out of hating Darumaka? Slip of the finger? Let's not say that when we're talking about like having a target audience of 6 to 12-year-olds, because that sounds wrong. That sounds real wrong on way too many levels. Oh, you mean slip of the finger with yet? So yeah, no, I'm never gonna be a parent. Can you see me being a parent? Like, I am quite content, like, sticking with I'm an uncle and that's it. I think here is the blockade for today. I'm gonna get through this. I'm just getting bad RNG. I don't know what the rest of his team is like, but the moment I get through the Dora market, the rest of the team is not going to be an issue because I'm extremely over-leveled. Wait. Why does it give you an option to say no? So at that point, good luck with the stream, with the miner. There's no FBI in the chat, is there? Okay, so let's get through this because I'm kind of getting tired of this. At least you're using embargo on your first turn, which prevents me from using items. But if I do things properly, I won't be needing any items. Also, Gear Grind deals more damage, even though it's not very effective, compared to Charge Beam. Charge Beam. I didn't complete that word. So why do I even have Charge Beam? Probably because it's a special attack. I need something like Field Shackle. That's what I need. I'm now just going to sweep the rest of us. A critical hit. That didn't even like matter at all. Sigilyph. Well, Sigilyph is a flying type. You know, I'm going to take it easy. Going to take it easy for... God damn it, I can't. You know what? Let's just keep gear grinding. You're not going to... Okay, you actually dealt a little bit of damage there. That critical hit actually mattered. Holy fuck. You see, the moment I get through Dora marker, I'm fine. It was just a Dora marker. Now, watch what I'm going to do. Because I'm also going to sweep the gym. After I heal up at the Pokemon Center. And I'm probably not going to go through for the next gym. I think after this gym, I'm going to end it here for today. Because there's no way we're making it through the next gym in this stream. I honestly think we might be... we have to do like quite a lot of things before getting to that gym anyway. We have to do some Team Plasma stuff and all that kind of good stuff. So we're leaving that for next week. But I'm honestly thinking that next week might be just the 5th gym. Because I don't really have anything unless... Like, Axedrol is going to be an issue. I don't know what else... what is his name? Clint? Clay? Something like that. I don't know what he has. I know he has a Axedrol. And that's going to be an issue. Because I have nothing to deal with that. And one Earthquake is going to demolish me. Oh, and static. This entire gym is going to be full of static Pokemon. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that ain't good at all. Okay, we're going to go back to the Pokemon Center a lot during this gym, I feel. But at least we're going to get a couple of levels before we get to the end. Now, we might actually get to the point where we can evolve. That will be fantastic. I am so happy for the invention of the speed button. I cannot praise whoever came up with that in the first place. The first emulator to include a speed up button. I don't know what it was. I love you. I unconditionally love you. You are literally the best person in the history of mankind. Inventing it. You did just make me miss like that train card. So you are also a piece of garbage. If any people are still watching this in the VOD, and you're American, and you somehow didn't click off this like 40 minutes ago, when I'm talking about bad, like stupid Americans, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about literally everybody else, except for you. And you might be thinking, but what if there's 2 American people watching this? Well, if you can figure out that riddle, you're not stupid, are you? If you can't figure it out, I might be talking about you. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I have no idea what I'm saying. I kind of feel delusional, not gonna lie. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long fucking month. It's been a good month, though. It's actually been a good year for me so far. Like, starting from January, things have just been going increasingly well month after month, and I'm very happy about that. Not on YouTube. On YouTube, it's been a downward spiral. It's just I've been getting every month. I've been getting less views than the month before, since the start of the year. But like, for like actual work and like business-related stuff, things have been going remarkably well since the start of the year. They've been going well before that, but you know, the start of the year, it's a new point, and it's like booking stuff and finances and stuff like that. When I open the Excel document for 2021, I don't see the very sad months I've had in 2020, where I made like very, how do I say this, sad amount of money. So just when I open it up, 2021, all of that, like start of 2020, like the first half of 2020, that is behind me, and now like I'm doing well. Like every month, it's been increasing. I do wonder when that's gonna stop, because at some point that's gonna like reach equilibrium, right? It's not like in a couple of years' time I'm making like 10 grand a month. I mean, if I am, I'm okay with that. Don't get me wrong. Like, money gods, if you're listening to me, don't take this as a sign of me saying I don't want to make 10,000 euros a month. I very much do. I don't know if I do, actually. I mean, I wouldn't say no to it if it doesn't... Like, if for the same amount of work I do now, maybe a little bit more, I could make, like, that amount of money. I would love to. Because at that point, I can just, like, pay somebody to do all my finances for me. And like my taxes and stuff, right? Because at this point I'm still doing all of that myself, and I am definitely like I do need to hire an accountant for my taxes next year, and I should be able to. Like the start of this year, I was not really in a position where I could do that. Maybe I'm assuming by next year I can. And hold on, man. I pulled a muscle in my back and it hurts like hell. I don't know if you can hear me very well. I think you can. The audio quality isn't great, but you know what? I'm going to be standing for a little bit because I pulled a muscle in my back and it hurts like a fucking bitch. That's what you get for being like 2 meters or something tall. It's just like, man. I have the same amount of bones on my back as any normal human being, but like an extra 20% of weight on top of it. That being said, I am like maybe not as good in shape as I could be either. I think it. Yeah, it is a little less painful now. Okay, that's better. That is much better. Like, if I were in a bit better shape, it would also be less problematic. Because I do sit for a lot of my job, and I obviously I don't move that much, and my eating habits. I mean, they're not horrible, but they could be better. I'm not like obscenely overweight or anything, but I don't exactly have the body of a Greek god either. So that could change a little bit, especially since I have those like back problems, which is just like it's a family thing as well for me. It's also just being tall, and not having an extra weight would maybe change a bit, but I don't think that much. Something that would be better is probably like doing more specific like exercises for training back muscle, and maybe getting one of those things which like forces you to sit up straight, because I tend to, what is the word, slump? a little bit, like lean forward with my neck a little bit and slow my shoulders down more than it's altogether healthy. Like getting one of those corset type of things that forces you to sit up straight and correct any things in like your skeletal growth, which over a certain amount of years just starts to get like out of whack, and then things start to get chronically bad, and it's just a whole thing. So maybe I should be looking into getting one of them as well at some point. I don't know. Honestly, can't be bothered right now with any of that. Isn't there also a Lupin in here somewhere? I could have sworn there is. There's one or two more trainer fights before the actual gym leader fight. They're just taking longer than I thought it would. Not gonna lie. I have plenty of time. I have a half an hour left for this gym fight, which is gonna be plenty. You know what the one real, like, there's more than one upside, but one of the upsides of streaming, recording too, but to a lesser extent, mostly streaming, is for me, is that I actually remember to drink water, because somehow when I'm streaming I get like a lot more dry mouth than I do when I'm recording, specifically when I'm recording Kingdom Hearts, because doing Kingdom Hearts I do tend to shut up a little bit more. Funny thing, actually, now that I think about it, because the entire thing about streaming is usually that you like can be a little bit low energy and a little bit more laid back than in any like given Let's Play recording. I don't tend to do that, which is why streaming is a very tiring thing for me, and I can't really keep it up for more than 2 hours at a time. Maybe 3 hours sometimes, but that's like actually like quite hard limit. Because after that I just start like dying. Same with recording, but especially with recording Kingdom Hearts, as I've been trying to say, and I've been interrupting myself. There's a lot of cutscenes where I sometimes like I throw in a comment, yeah, but I don't like continuously talk over them, especially when characters are talking inside of the cutscenes. Oh, that sucks. I'm gonna give myself a potion because I don't want to. I don't want to have to redo this fight. So the funny thing is, because I'm doing Kingdom Hearts on one hand and then doing these streams where I just keep on rambling on the other hand, is that I actually get a way drier mouth and actually get more tired as well from doing streams than I do from recordings at this point. Mostly because I am I'm doing the Pokemon related stuff where I can do more rambling rather than just taking it a little bit easier. You're double teaming me to death. Honestly, fuck you. I don't appreciate this. No. You're double teaming and paralyzing. Which is just the thank you! Fucking hell! Now, I think that I should... Oh, that's definitely not what I want to do. I think that I should be getting to the gym leader. Oh, there's the loop-de-loop. Okay, that's the gym leader. So, we go back to the start now. We go heal up. We go beat up the gym leader. And then we end it off for today. I think that is fair. I've also been looking into doing giveaways on live streams. But then I realized like the average viewer count on my live streams is like 1, 2, sometimes 3. So maybe that's not a great idea. Then again, maybe doing giveaways on stream as well as in the Discord is a bit of an incentive for people to drop by in the live stream and maybe like stay and hang out a little bit. Because they can like drop in and just participate in the live stream and then... I don't know how that would actually work. I have to look into it. It's very easy to do if you're streaming on Twitch with Streamlabs. I don't quite know how that translates to YouTube. And I frankly don't know if live streaming is like helping or hurting my YouTube analytics either. I'd have to do a bit of research into that as well. Because it's nice doing it on YouTube and just having it here in the background as well. But it might not be like the most horrible idea to diversify a little bit and go to Twitch. But then I have the members features here, like the emoticons and all the emojis and stuff like that on YouTube. Which at that point, if people get a membership on YouTube, it's worth less. I'm also streaming on Twitch, and then there is a difference between like Twitch subscribers in due time, in theory, and YouTube memberships, and that would be kind of messy. And I kind of want to keep all on YouTube, just for like it's easier that way. And it does generate watch time. The thing I'm thinking about is that my streams get like a quite significant lesser amount of views compared to my videos. So are my live streams hurting the health of my channel statistics and analytics? Because if so, I might want to move into Twitch. So it's a very... I'm gonna bind you because otherwise you are just being a bitch. Substrika is the ace of this team now. So at the moment I take out Substrika, I'm probably gonna be fine. Is what I'm thinking. I don't know if that's actually the case. I'm fairly certain it's the ace, at least as far as the levels go. But I think she also has 2 Emolgas, which could be problematic. And that is the end of Substrika because Bind should finish it off. Yeah, okay. So that's level 35. Yeah, I was gonna say that's not level 35. I'm gonna be upset. So that's what I've been thinking about lately a little bit. Like, maybe I should take some time to look into that and see if it's actually worth it to keep doing this on YouTube. If it, like, is it... The original idea is it's going to help me generate watch time because it's going to be very long content. It's going to be like very easy to produce, very long content. So it's going to generate a lot of watch time very easily. I don't necessarily know if that has worked out that way. I very much like doing this weekly live stream thing. I'm not going to stop doing it. The only question is it hurting my YouTube channel to do it on YouTube? If so, I might want to move it to Twitch. But as I said before, there is also the underlying thing of, but that makes channel subscriptions or channel memberships on YouTube worth a little bit less. Because you can still use those emojis in YouTube comments, I'm pretty sure. I should actually go check that to be sure. And not just on live streams, but it's most like apparent and most useful within live streams. So if I wouldn't do those on YouTube anymore, I don't know. But and in much the same way, if I were ever to get Twitch like affiliate or partnership, what would be a good reason to sub to me on Twitch over YouTube membership? Because in YouTube membership, for the same price you get a Twitch subscription, you get weekly extra content and monthly extra content, right? So, but maybe it's just about diversifying and whatever. I'm gonna have to look into that because the reason I'm thinking that, right, is because, and this is a very stupid reason maybe to think that, but I honestly think that MatPat from Game Theory and Film Theory and Food Theory has his whole YouTube game figured out fairly well. Nobody actually 100% knows what they're doing, but he works with like a lot of channels. He's got a lot of data on this kind of stuff. And generally speaking, when he does a move on these social media platforms, I'm thinking he has a good reason to do that. And he made a separate GT Live channel on YouTube for all the live streams they do. They didn't do that on the Game Theory channel. that leads me to believe there is something to be said about not flooding your YouTube channel with live streams that might get less views than your average video. Or like worse retention or something like that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. But it is certainly a thing that I'm thinking about. There's a very huge upside that being to streaming on YouTube. That being, it automatically also makes VODs for anybody who can't be there live. But then the upside to Twitch again is also that when you want to do something like a giveaway or like have chat interaction or whatever with like a bot, that is so much easier, or just to begin with, possible on Twitch versus YouTube. Like, Twitch Plays Pokemon would never have been able to be done easily anyway on YouTube. Like, YouTube Plays Pokemon wouldn't have been a thing. It's because Twitch is, as far as I understand, very open to like bots and plugins and that kind of stuff, whereas YouTube is not. So I guess we'll be reaching a decision about that in the next couple of months when I actually bother to go do some research about that. Other than that, we've had a good stream. I should not forget to save. That would be very bad if I didn't save. We've got another 2 gyms. I'm probably going to do 1 or 2 gyms next episode, and that's going to be it. Again, we missed a stream at the beginning of this month, the first week, because I had a lot of birthday-related stuff going on, and that's been that. It's been a weird stream, man. It's been very weird. Weird but fun. Weirdly